Liminal magic beyond the veil of the in-between. A YouTube liminal inspirational audio. There are moments in life that don't belong to either side of a story. You haven't arrived. You haven't left. You're standing at the edge. A doorway you haven't crossed yet. A road that hasn't decided where it's going. That strange hour when day hasn't quite released its grip and night hasn't yet taken over. These are liminal moments. Most people rush through them, but spiritual fiction and real magic knows better. Threshold 2, naming the in-between. A liminal space is not a destination, it's a suspension. You are no longer who you were, but you are not yet who you're becoming. That's why it feels uncomfortable. Your habits don't work here, your identity doesn't quite fit, your usual explanations go quiet. In fiction, these places are everywhere. Forests that rearrange themselves, deserts that erase direction, corridors that feel longer on the inside than the outside. They aren't there for atmosphere. They exist because change needs uncertainty to breathe. Threshold 3. Identity softens. Notice what happens to characters in these spaces. They don't transform because they fight harder. They don't change because they finally understand. They change because they're forced to remain present without knowing who they're supposed to be. The liminal strips away roles. The hero pauses. The mask loosens. The voice that used to narrate everything falls silent. And in that silence, something older listens. Threshold 4. The world responds. In good spiritual fiction, the environment is not passive. The forest watches, the passage waits, the space itself seems aware. This isn't fantasy logic. It's a recognition that when identity loosens, the world stops being an object and becomes a participant. The more the character tries to force certainty, the more distorted the space becomes. The moment they stop pushing, the space opens, not as reward, as response, the sacred function. Ancient cultures understood this. Thresholds were sacred, doorways were blessed, crossroads were feared and revered. Twilight was not a time for errands. Why? Because liminal states thin the veil. Attention sharpens. Symbols speak. Meaning rises without explanation. In fiction, this is where prophecies activate, encounters occur, and hidden knowledge become visible. In real life, this is where identities dissolve without violence. Threshold 6, modern discomfort. Modern culture hates this. We want clarity, resolution, speed. We treat the in-between like a mistake. Something to escape, something to optimize, something to get over with. But the liminal cannot be rushed. You cannot optimize a threshold. You can only enter it. Threshold 7. Personal recognition. You've been here before, and something ended before the next thing formed. After leaving a place, before belonging somewhere else, after an old belief dissolved, before a new one arrived, these moments weren't empty. They were full of potential that hadn't chosen a shape yet. Threshold 8, release. Spiritual fiction doesn't ask you to escape into other worlds. It asks you to recognize that this moment, the in-between, is already sacred. Change doesn't happen when everything is clear. It happened when you're willing to stand where clarity has not yet arrived without demanding it. Beyond the veil is not another realm. It is this one, seen at the moment it hasn't decided what it's going to become. And neither have you.